Philippines in the news. Military operations continue in Marawi as the conflict enters its 40th day. In the fighting today, a 6-year-old child was hit by a stray bullet. A Chinese flag is raised over in Hong Kong to mark its 20th handover anniversary. But not all are celebrating this milestone, as the large protests are held as a call for democracy. And all is set for the Battle of Brisbane. WBO welterweight champion Manny Pacquiao and Australia's Jeff Horn weigh in for tomorrow's world title bout. Good evening, I'm Maite Rodriguez. Thanks for joining us. We start with the latest from Ground Zero. About 100 extremists are still sowing terror in Marawi City, but the military says these terrorists are now struggling, with their leaders divided, with others reportedly dead. Our JC Cotinga joins us live from Marawi. JC, how is the situation there now? Tell us about this child who was hit by a stray bullet. How is he now?
What happened to 6-year-old Sulaiman Guro, he's a little boy, shows us just how dangerous it is to be living in Marawi City right now. Even if this place where we are at, where it happened, is actually one of the safe zones that the military declared as clear of terrorists. I am standing in the place where Sulaiman was hit by that bullet. He was seated on one of those benches behind me this afternoon. He was watching TV. There was a TV set on that table over there. And this place, there's a tin roof above me here, and still this bullet went through and it scraped his back. Very fortunate. It did not really sink into his body, but he was wounded. His parents rushed him to the Amay Pakpak Hospital, which is just around the corner from here. So despite what happened, still quite fortunate. Of course, it was, as you would imagine, very traumatic and harrowing for the child. Honestly, at the hospital, they treated his wound, cleaned it up. They made him go through some X-ray tests to make sure that everything is intact. And they gave him a few antibiotic shots to make sure that he doesn't get infected. This place, let me just explain, is a car wash where media personnel, including ourselves, have been going to the roof deck to take photos, to take pictures of the fighting from supposedly a safe distance, although we do hear bullets whirring past us every now and then. And sure enough, here's what happened. We see now that we can't really say that it is safe to be in Marawi City right now. As you have said, the military says that the terrorists they're closing in on the terrorists. They are gaining ground against them. Only 100 to 120 left of the enemy's ranks, significantly lower than the 400 plus that they started with more than a month ago. They're now confined to just 4 barangays at the business district, the center of Marawi City. Despite that, though, the military says they cannot yet say when they will be able to end this fight, only that they are confident that they will win it. They say there's infighting among the enemy and that their defenses are crumbling. Also today, we were able to source some photos just to give us an idea of who these terrorists are, members of what we know as the Maute group or the Dawla Islamia. These photos, we hope to bring them up for you. One of them, the boy in green, if you can see that, he appears to be a minor. When you're here in Marawi, all throughout the day, you hear the sound of bombs, gunfighting, mortar rounds echoing. You know, this is a mountainous place, so it kind of amplifies the sound of the fighting. Despite that, I have this video for you of Sulaiman. This morning, he was playing with his sister because he's already used to the presence of reporters in their compound. So he was comfortable enough. They were playing in front of us. We were able to take video of him. This is despite the fact that you can hear the war raging all around. The children, it has come to be a bit, they've come to feel normal, or it's become second nature to them. But then again, what happened to Sulaiman does remind us of really what the dangers are that they are facing here every day. Mai.
It seems there really is no safe area there in Marawi, JC. But what about the evacuees displaced by the conflict? How are they coping?
The Crisis Management Council that leads the efforts to manage the situation here is saying that they are afraid that it might go out of hand. 300,000 plus evacuees scattered in the towns, villages, and one city, Iligan, that are surrounding or around Marawi. Many of them in evacuation centers, exposed to the elements. People are getting sick. They've been living on canned goods and other donations for more than a month already. The people are complaining of diseases such as cough, cold, fever, hypertension, skin diseases, things that you might expect in situations in which there are so many people crowded in one area. Also, another thing is the trauma, the stress that all this is causing them. According to the provincial government, there are at least 2,500 of these evacuees who are now showing early symptoms of schizophrenia. So it's very sad to hear about that, and the government is appealing for help, any kind of help that anyone can send to the people of Marawi to help ease the situation. Mai.
JC, you take care. JC Gotinga there reporting to us live from Marawi City. The military boosted its defense of Lake Lanao to make sure terrorists who are sowing terror in Marawi City will not escape their offensives. The CNN Philippines team joined troops patrolling Lake Lanao. Terrorists use this as a gateway to escape the battleground. But while our reporter Camille Abadisho was doing her report, an enemy sniper fires at them. Authorities immediately secured the team back to shore. In the past weeks, authorities captured Maute members and supporters using the lake. The government says the terrorists may have used the lake for the escape of Maute matriarch Farhana, who was captured in Mashu, Lano del Sur, and Patriarch Kayamora, who was arrested in Davao.
Nag-establish ng isang malaking force dito sa Lake Lanao upang bantayan at palakasin yung ating puwersa. Pinatatag natin, in-strengthen natin yung partnership sa mga local government units. Dahil sila po ang laging nagsasabi sa atin kung kailan dadaan yung kalaban. Kaya po nung 3 days ago, meron tayong nahuli dito dahil ito ay sa isang magandang collaboration ng community na lalong-lalo na sa parte ng Marantaw at Masyo, kung saan sila po ang nagsabi na merong mga parating na mga tao na nakabangka papunta dun sa area po ng Marawi City.
Former President and now Pampanga Representative Gloria Macapagal Arroyo rallies behind President Duterte's martial law declaration in Mindanao. She urges the public to trust the president on this. Anjo Alimario tells us more.
She's no stranger to martial law. Former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo placed Maguindanao under military rule in 2009 following the Ampatuan massacre. It only lasted 8 days. Arroyo lifted martial law even before Congress could review her proclamation. Several petitions challenging Arroyo's martial law were filed at the Supreme Court, but with the lifting of martial law, these were dismissed for having become moot and academic. And now the former president is throwing her full support to President Duterte's martial law declaration in the entire Mindanao.
Therefore, it is important that we just trust the president because he knows what we don't know and he knows what he's doing. So let us all support the martial law of President Duterte in Mindanao.
Arroyo says by the time she became president, she inherited a battlefield in Mindanao.
The rebellion had gained ground led by the MILF in 1972. And when there was a peace agreement in 1996, the MILF continued the rebellion. And when I became president, it got all complicated because of the ascendance of international terrorism and religious warfare after 9/11.
Arroyo describes the Marawi crisis as a man-made calamity, a calamity of evacuees from war. She says it will take a long time to rebuild Marawi City. Asked if she's in favor of extending military rule in Mindanao,
If he asks for it, yes.
President Duterte said he's willing to extend martial law if government forces ask for it. The Supreme Court is set to rule on the constitutionality of his martial law proclamation next week. Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.
A developing story now, a firefight erupts between government troops and members of the New People's Army in Abra. This is in the town of Bolinay. All military units are now intensifying checkpoints. They are on alert for any diversionary attacks. We'll give you more information on this as they become available. President Duterte asks communists to stop fighting for a while. He made the call during a speech in Davao del Norte where he led the celebration of the province's founding anniversary. Our senior correspondent, Ina Andolong, is there. She reports to us live now. Ina, what else did the president say?
Well, my President Duterte's message to the New People's Army was clear. He's willing to talk peace with them, but he says the NPA shouldn't be two-faced about it. He says if NPA leaders say that their men on the ground will stop attacking government forces, and that's something that the President actually expects to happen. The NPA leadership recently said that they are willing to go on a ceasefire. However, in his recent speeches, President Duterte has been criticizing the group for not being organized anymore because despite that pronouncement, he says NPA troops continue to launch attacks. A recent one we know of happened in Iloilo where about 50 armed NPA rebels attacked a municipal police station there. Let's listen to what the President had to say earlier.
Pag kinalaban mo yung polis ko, pag binaril mo yung sundalo, kalaban talaga tayo. Eh, kung magbarilan tayo, di magbarilan. Yan ang ano ko dyan. But can you just stop fighting for a while? Kasi ang sabi ng mga leader ninyo sa Europe, there will be a ceasefire.
Now, speaking at the 50th founding anniversary celebration of Davao del Norte, President Duterte also warned communist rebels from joining terrorist groups. He says they will get nothing out of joining or participating in activities of these terror groups, which he says do not really represent any ideology. Now, on the rebellion in Marawi, the President said government troops will not leave the area until the last terrorist is executed. He also criticized human rights groups or human rights advocates for turning a blind eye on what terrorists and even drug users are doing. He particularly cited the recent incident in Bulacan where a man killed an entire family, a grandmother, a mother, and her children because he was high.
Why would we allow you to destroy our country like that? Pati yung droga. Tingnan mo naman kung pumatay. Pero ito, you can never hear the human rights or the human rights lawyers o kana mga bigaon nga sige agyaw-yaw nga even just an expression of sympathy and condemnation. Wala. And you know that every day, as there is an addict that is killed, there is also an innocent person who is held up, hold upan, mamatay, makawatan. And these idiots just keep it a blind eye.
Now, President Duterte stressed terrorists have no redeeming factor. And also, as he has been stressing over the past year, he says it pains him to have to send soldiers to Marawi knowing that they could end up being killed. Mike?
Senior correspondent Ina Andolong reporting live from Tagum City. When the newsroom returns, pro-democracy and pro-China campaigners clash in Hong Kong as the city celebrates its handover anniversary. And President Donald Trump declares U.S. patience with the North Korean regime is over. Newsroom Weekend will be back after a quick break. Keep it here on CNN Philippines. Good evening to our viewers live on Facebook. Right now, we just heard JC Gotinga's story straight from Marawi City now on its 40th day of the crisis. Very disturbing images of the 6-year-old boy there getting hit by a stray bullet. It seems there really is no safe zone there in Marawi. And if you remember, there was an incident before that a foreign journalist was also hit by a stray bullet, and he's supposedly in a safe area away from ground zero. Now we have more stories coming up. Rex Remitio will report on the state of Philippine jails, and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology says our jails are now the world's most congested in the world. Well, it's not surprising there. We have to see his report later when we come back. We'd like to say hi to our viewers watching us, all our kababayans from all over the world joining us live now on Facebook. Maraming salamat po for tuning in. Vermond Aralios watching us from Qatar, Kat Banog from Saudi Arabia, Emil Uyao from Jeddah, Emeline Fujino watching us from Japan, Opring Onofre from South Korea, Gaima or Gima Garciano from Jordan, and Rasalin Taghap joining us, watching us from New York City. Good evening po sa inyong lahat. Okay, again, more stories. This is the newsroom on CNN Philippines. Welcome back. The Bureau of Jail Management and Penology says Philippine jails are now the world's most congested. In this report, our Rex Remitio tells us the congestion rate has reached 583%.
This is Quezon City Jail, home to more than 2,700 persons. They are forced to occupy almost every corner of the jail that can only house about 800 inmates.
A year after President Duterte unleashed his war on crime, particularly on illegal drugs, this is how the country's jails look like. Severely overcrowded, squalid for some inmates, even inhumane for others. Some inmates who refuse to speak on camera describe their life inside the jail as, quote, worse than hell. The Bureau of Jail Management confirms the country's jails are now the world's most congested. From 98,000 a year ago, about 142,000 inmates are now crammed in only 400 jails. This means a 583% congestion rate, which BJMP says overtakes Haiti's 454% as recorded by a University of London study in 2016. BJMP Chief Serafin Barreto also projects the country's inmate population might reach 200,000 by year-end. This is 10 times more than what the country's jail facilities can take in.
Ang ating pong jail ay sobrang sikip at kulang na kulang para sa ating inmates.
Barreto, however, cannot estimate up to how many more inmates the overcrowded jails could still accommodate. Overcrowding of jails is one of the reasons for jail riots. Barreto says they're also undermanned. They only have 11,000 personnel and they need 83,000 more.
Sa totoo lang, dahil sa kakulangan namin ng personnel at limitation ng resources, talagang nahihirapan kami. Mahirap sa kalagayan ng ating mga wardens at saka mga personnel doon.
They're also seeking the help of Congress to double their budget from 11 billion to more than 20 billion pesos to build more jails. But Barreto says this is still not enough. The number of prosecutors and judges in courts has to be increased to speed up resolution of cases. Rex Remitio, CNN, Philippines.
Hong Kong is marking 20 years since its handover from Britain to China. Not everyone in the city is celebrating the historic milestone. Pro-democracy and pro-China campaigners clashed today ahead of the flag-raising ceremony. While President Xi Jinping said the historic event is another sign of China's resurgence. The protests exposed the tensions in Hong Kong between those who seek greater freedom and those who are loyal to mainland China. Chinese President Xi Jinping called on both sides to adhere to the one country, two systems principle and to uphold national unity. He warned sovereignty is not negotiable. Next week on The Story of the Filipino, we'll listen to 3 stories of hope, perseverance, and success. Get to know the stories of scholars of Petron's Tulong Aral program and how they never stop dreaming for a better future.
Yung hirap po nung pinagdaanan namin dati, kumbaga yun po yung inspirasyon ko kasi ang sabi ko po sa sarili ko, ayokong maranasan pa ng mahabang panahon yung hirap na yun kung meron namang way para malagpasan po yun. Marami pong benefits yung nakuha ko sa Petron Foundation kasi unang-una po, yung buong pag-aaral ko po, sila na po talaga yung sumagot. Magkaroon lang po ng engineer yung una kong pangalan, yun lang po talaga. Kung hindi ko po may papasa yung board exam, parang baliwala naman po lahat ng pinag-aralan ko.
Sa pinagdaanan ko po, parang natutunan ko po na kailangan mo lang po talagang magsipag. Kung yung mga available po na opportunities, i-grab mo po at huwag mo pong sayangin.
Kamusta trabaho?
Sobrang malaki po yung pagkakaiba kasi nakita ko po talaga ngayon na magaan na po kahit paano yung buhay namin. Hindi ko naman po sinabing mayaman na kami, pero sobrang laki po ng pagbabago na talagang sure na po na may pagkain kami araw-araw. Sure na di kami mapuputulan ng ilaw at tubig. Sure na rin na yung mga kapatid ko, di nila maranasan yung naranasan namin na hindi makasama sa mga ganito activities sa school.
Dahil sa araw na ito, ay itatanghal namin mga iskolar ng Petron sa harap ninyo ang aming pagtatapos sa ika-6 na baitang.
Kung gusto mo talaga yung isang bagay, kahit gaano kakapagod, kahit gaano kakapuyat, kahit ano na yung kung gaano katagal yung pag-aaral mo sa eskwela, kung gusto mo talaga, kakayanin mo yun. Tsaka, sabi nga ni Jose Rizal, ang kabataan ng pag-asa ng bayan, pero kung walang paggabay ng mga magulang, mga guro, tapos ng Diyos, wala rin pong silbi yung sinabi ni Jose Rizal kasi hindi naman po kayang tumayo ng kabataan sa sarili nilang paa na walang paggabay ng magulang nila, mga guro, lalo po ng Diyos.
Yun po, para sa mga kabataan po na nahihirapan po o minsan titingnan nila yung buhay in a negative way, ang mensahe ko po para sa kanila is wag lang po silang susuko. And lahat po ng opportunities na magkakaroon sila, i-grab lang po nila. Kung ano man po yung meron tayong resource dito sa mundo, kailangan po natin yung kunin at tayo na lang po yung bahalang magpalago nun.
Catch the full episode of The Story of the Filipino on Tuesday, July 4th at 9:30 in the evening. Still ahead, singer Jake Zyrus puts something in the backseat as he takes on a new phase in life. Find out what that is when Newsroom Weekend returns. Viewers, live on Facebook still. Last 4 minutes of the show coming up. We have the story of Jake Zyrus, formerly known as Charisse Pempenko. We'd like to know the next phase of his life, of his career, taking on this transitioning to a transgender man. Very interesting story by Zian Arcangel. She had a one-on-one interview with Jake Zyrus a few days ago. We'd like to say hi to our viewers from all over the world. Dino Ibrahim, hi to you, watching us from Riyadh. Ramil Tuvilla from Dubai. Francis Podador from Japan. Nonoy Paguntalan from the UK. Julieta Pegel from Germany. Rebecca Albo from Thailand. Eduardo Sulca watching us from Macau. Lori Imperial, she says, salute to all our policemen and our soldiers. That message, very resounding in many of your comments here on our Facebook Live, praying for peace in Marawi and praying for the fighting there to be over and praying for peace, for the safety of our soldiers and the civilians still remaining in the city. Stay tuned. The newsroom's back with more stories. Manny Pacquiao is all set to defend his WBO welterweight title against Australian Jeff Horn. Pacquiao's trainer Freddie Roach says the People's Champ must beat Horn in tomorrow's match should he have hopes of a rematch with Floyd Mayweather Jr. Roach said on Tuesday Pacquiao was looking strong and in good shape. Pacquiao lost to Mayweather in 2015 and has been wanting a rematch, and the two fighters are good to go. Pacquiao and Horn hit the scales today and made weight. Pacquiao weighed in at 66.1 kilograms. Horn checked in 66.3 kilograms in front of a large crowd in Brisbane. Singer Jake Zyrus is excited about this new chapter in his life. Zian Arcangel sat with the artist formerly known as Charisse, and he talks about what to expect in his rebirth.
Jake Zyrus has never been happier now that he's able to express his real self. The singer formerly known as Charisse Pempenko is a proud trans man, and he's excited about the changes in his life, starting with a new screen name.
Yung Jake talaga yung pinaka-ano sa akin, pinaka-importante talaga sa akin, na yun talaga yung parang pinaka-naramdaman ko na gusto ko talaga to.
Now, pursuing fame takes a backseat as he's more focused being happy and doing what he loves the most, singing.
What I have is my music. So parang regalo ko na sa akin yung ipaalam sa buong mundo kung sino talaga ako. Kasi yun ako eh. Hindi ko kayang tago yung sarili ko. Tanggapin nila yung music ko, hindi, kakanta pa rin naman ako eh. Mahal ko yung musika, hindi yung kasikatan.
While other artists want to project a certain kind of image, Jake feels he has nothing to lose by being true to himself. He says he didn't even feel fear when he had surgery on his chest as part of the transition process.
They said, alam mo, bago ka makatulog, They said that I was singing. They were like, kinakanta ko daw yung I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way.
Jake's happy that reaction to his transition has been mostly positive, although bashers remain. Still, he says he's thankful for critics because they make him stronger. As for his family, Jake says he's confident they will be able to resolve any differences they have at the proper time.
If we're not okay right now, we will be okay because no matter what, we're family.
Jake is working on a new album and says fans should expect him to perform back on stage soon. Cian Arcangel, CNN Philippines.
That's what's happening in the newsroom this Saturday, the first day of July. I'm Maite Rodriguez.